Hey, Wambug World Entertainment and Knight Rider, the new movie that's on its way, which we discussed the other day. We're getting rumours of possible cars that will portray KITT. Now, of course, it was the Trans Am that was the original KITT, Pontiac basically. And now they're talking about it being an electric car. Yeah, possibly one of two concept cars or one of two actual cars that are available right now. Either way, I don't like the idea of it. By the way, this rumour comes from Tachyon Pulse. Now, quite frankly, the dude normally talks about Star Trek. How the hell he's getting information about Knight Rider, don't know. But at the same time, I think this rumour has been getting floated about a little bit. But either way, that's where it's coming from. So we'll take it with a grain of salt. However, it does make sense because we know they're not going to use the original car, which is quite frankly stupid. But it also makes sense because it's going to be modern. But that is the thing about this rumour when it comes to the car, is it's giving us a time frame. So I said, you know, in the other video, I wonder if they would possibly set it in the 80s or so. This would clearly be an indication that that's not the case. And I would have opened the video with a bit of the theme tune because it's Knight Rider, but you get hit for that. I've tried before and they hit you with it. So we'll see what happens. But anyway, let's dive into this because two of the cars, you can understand why they're talking about it, but it also doesn't make sense when it comes to Knight Rider, which I'll discuss. But it's saying anyway, the upcoming Knight Rider movie from the Cobra Kai creators may feature a very different KITT, with the new rumours pointing to an electric car taking the lead role. So this is where it comes from now. According to the Tachyon Pulse YouTube channel, the production is considering an EV for the modern version of KITT. The suggestion is that the car will be designed to look slightly futuristic while still grounded in reality. So this is what he says. It's going to be an electric car. I think what they're going to have to do is do something that's a little bit into the future based in some sort of reality. Now, again, I don't know where he could be getting any of this type of information, but we'll roll with it for now anyway. So, concept cars are in the running. Two concept models were named as possible choices for KITT. The Chrysler Helson EV concept and the Lincoln L100 concept car. So, both vehicles represent futuristic design directions, and either would give the movie a distinctive edge. Beyond concept cars, Tachyon Pulse says production is eyeing two existing EVs that are definitely being looked at. The Tesla Roadster is being looked at, and the Dodge Charger EV. So either model would bring a sleek and powerful look to KITT while keeping in line with the movie's modern setting. So sponsorship could decide KITT. So it's saying the YouTuber noted the final choice may come down to which manufacturer is willing to strike a sponsorship deal. The production would need multiple vehicles, each costing around $100,000, and would likely want 3 or 4 cars provided at no cost. That could ultimately decide which model becomes the next KITT. They're going to want to deal with the car company. They're going to want basically a sponsorship deal, says the YouTuber. So it really depends on which one of these two companies is willing to basically give the production a couple of free cars. He adds, remembering these are going to be best bought 100 grand each, so they're going to want to get probably 3 or 4 of them, and they're going to probably want to get them for free. Now, none of that part makes sense. Yeah, obviously the company would want to be running costs down, but you're not going to expect to get cars that cost upwards of 100,000 each to be handed 3 to 4 of them for nothing. Like, the reality of that happening is non-existent. It really is. Sponsorship deals, well, that means nothing. That really means nothing. Companies would have to be looking at it from the point of view of, well, would this make people buy the car if they see it on the big screen? Reality is no, because people would be looking at it through the lens of Knight Rider and going, that's not the original car. What the hell is that? Now, the concept cars, this is what I want to swing back to, because as they're saying, they're the very futuristic style of car, and as Tachyon Put's saying, they're looking for this futuristic style car that's grounded. Why? Why would they be looking for a futuristic car? That defeats the purpose of KITT. It's a company car that's meant to blend in with other cars. Yes, all of its technology was on the interior. And what was the main thing KITT could do when someone tried to get nosy to see the interior, to see all the gadgets, the computer screens, all that stuff? He would tint the glass so you couldn't see in. Other than that, it looked like your standard road car. So the idea of, oh, the car would have to be futuristic in style. Why? That defeats the purpose. You're meant to be pretty much covert. Rolling up in something like that Lincoln L100, it's like you stand out like a sore thumb. You'd be like, oh, well, that thing's obviously not meant to be here. It completely defeats the purpose. As for them going with a Tesla Roadster, they're trying to say it looks powerful. Looks like a girl car, to be honest with you. It really does. It's this little small, looks like a two-seater. Don't know whether it's a two-seater, but looks like a little two-seater. So, the Dodge Charger, I think, didn't it? I think it became, there was concept art for the Revival series back in, I think it was 2008, for it to be a Dodge Charger, and it fell through, and I think Dodge were like, we don't really want to go with that, where Ford went, we'll go with it. And that's why KITT became a transformer as well. It could turn into other models of Ford vehicles, like a van or a pickup. And it was like, why is the car able to do this crap? So, it was so weird. Do I overall think this movie is going to work, though? Quite frankly, I don't really think it is going to work. Not just because it's not going to be David Hasselhoff and it won't be the original car and stuff like that. I think it's more to the fact that they've tried 3 times to revive Knight Rider, and 3 times it failed because they changed everything about it. Obviously, the first attempt was the mini movie, or TV movie basically, of Knight Rider 2000, which, yeah, had the Hoff back, had all the, well, most of the original cast back, obviously, and of course, William Daniels was back to be KITT, to provide the voice of KITT. Problem was, KITT wasn't KITT. If you remember Knight Rider 2000, the original car was meant to being destroyed. They took it apart, and you ended up with KITT being put into an old Cadillac, I think it was, and then put into this piece of garbage looking red car, which I believe was a Dodge, actually. I think that they put this shell over the style car, but it failed because it didn't capture the magic and stuff of the original show, because they changed the car. Then of course they tried Team Knight Rider, and the less said about that, the better. It didn't even feature the Hoff. I think Hoff was in a couple of episodes, but yeah, people on little scooters, and yeah, it was just horrible. And then of course the 2008 revamp, redo, reimagining of Knight Rider, where KITT was a transformer. KITT was also voiced by Val Kilmer. The guy was called Mikey Knight or something like that. He was meant to be the son of Michael Knight. It wasn't a story about a lone guy on a mission with the car. It was this government agency, full-on government controlled and stuff like that. It was a big team effort, which seemed to be the thing to go with when they were doing these revivals of these type of shows. Look at the MacGyver. MacGyver wasn't on his own anymore. He had an entire team with him all the time. Yeah, horrible. So, the idea of them trying to redo this... Now, the Cobra Kai dudes, yeah, they did great with Cobra Kai. Do you know why, though? Because it was the original people from the Karate Kid franchise and stuck very much with them. They're not going to do that with this movie. We're not going to see David Hasselhoff running around as Michael Knight with the original KITT. And I think that's going to burn people out. And again, depending on what the tone is, if they go full-on comedy and stuff, it's in trouble. But the cars they've chosen, or at least the rumor is that these cars are being chosen, horrible choices, to be honest. All of them are horrible choices, especially the two concept cars. But it also doesn't make sense that they would want these futuristic style cars to be in a modern setting for a car that's meant to be blending in with other cars. I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. But that's the rumor doing the rounds, courtesy of Tachyon Pulse. How the hell he would get information about that, don't know. But either way, that's what we're going with. So let us know what you think of these cars possibly being KITT. And with that, I shall leave it there for this one. So do like, share, subscribe and all that good stuff. Cheers, and I'll catch you in the next one.